Buffalo, we owe me low, my low. If you want go wash water, you go use. To Buffalo, say, bill me low, my low. If you want cook soup water, you go use. Water, don't get in me, don't get in me, water. Don't get in me, don't get in me, water.
Thank you so much for joining us. I am joined here by my co-host, Mr. Zenge.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again. If make sure to hit that notification bell on whatever podcast platform you're using. Follow us on all of our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter, our
Make sure you check out
everything
the new
else, YouTube.
documentary as well.
Oh yeah, make sure you check out the new documentary, I Fought Hitler in Kenya, which is a documentary following a World War II veteran from Africa that fought in Kenya and Burma. Today we have a very special guest. I'm not sure if I'm wrong, Zenge. This is our first Nigerian guest, right?
Yes.
And
So
yeah,
congratulations on being our first Nigerian guest.
yeah, first Nigerian guest, Mr. Sultan Quadri, who is a freelance journalist based in Lagos, Nigeria. And he also appeared in IJNet, Stears Business, The Guardian Nigeria, and many other outlets. So, Mr. Sultan Quadri, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thank you very much for having me, Nathan and Zenge. And I think I should also add, I am also a full-time worker with Tech Cabal, where I've written about about the metaverse and explore the possibilities for Africans. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think I actually found the article on Tech Cabal. So for many people that don't know, recently, I think it was last year in November, Facebook announced, well, the owner of Facebook, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, announced that Facebook was going to change its name to Meta. Essentially, Mark Zuckerberg announced that Facebook will be changing and entering the virtual reality world, and it's entering the metaverse. And soon after that, many different companies started announcing that they're going to create their own metaverses. And we're now hearing things of people buying land in metaverses. I think the biggest news article was that somebody's paid about $400,000 just to be Snoop Dogg's neighbor in one particular metaverse, which is very, very interesting. So just to start off, Mr. Quadri, for people that don't know, what is the metaverse?
Okay, thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Zenge, for that question. So around November, so there was this buzz around the metaverse because Facebook changed its name to Meta, and there was just this more awareness about metaverse. And it raised questions. People are interested about the metaverse, but it has been with us for a while that most people don't know. So metaverse is a combination of augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D. It's just you experiencing the internet as it is, but in a different format. So in this case, you are more involved in experiencing the internet. So instead of just using your keypad or touching the screens of your phone, you get to use a headset, a VR headset, which transports you to that virtual world. So if you're familiar with any VR gaming platform, it's similar to what the metaverse is going to be. And already Africans play VR games, even though not as much as elsewhere in the world. But I don't think it's a big deal. But Facebook branding doesn't make it look like it is a very, very new concept. Africans should not be left out because we have a lot of poor people in the continent, or maybe because we have huge problems. I feel Africans should not be left out based on this factor. So we are allowed to enjoy and experience metaverse as everyone in the world. The same way we enjoy the internet through our smartphones and our laptops.
In what way exactly is this going to affect Africans' lives? For example, if someone adopts the way Bitcoin has sort of sort of become a common thing in our mainstream either discussions, and for many people they also use Bitcoin. And I understand that in Nigeria and in some other African countries with quite a big tech base, they use this virtual currency. So is Metaverse going to be changing our lives in a similar way? Is it the next big thing, or what would you say with regards to Africa?
Okay, I feel it will be difficult to get Africans like fully onboarded to the metaverse, just because it takes a lot of data. Like most countries have very, very low, don't have the internet speed capacity to probably be online for that long. The promise, so the metaverse promises to like have you immersed in a digital world. So most people don't have the financial capacity to spend that much in the metaverse. And it's also the internet. How many people? There's at least about 43% of Africans are currently on the internet, while about 56 are still not on the internet. So I try to like bring these people to the internet, and I don't see them experiencing the metaverse first. So they're first going to get access to feature phones, get access to the internet, start using apps like Facebook, and before think of buying VR headset. So for you to experience the metaverse, you can either you use your laptop or you use a VR headset. So the VR headset is the standard equipment for accessing the metaverse. And I feel, and of course, as I said earlier, Africans should not be left behind because of these constraints. So you see Africans buying lands, because they are the Africans, of course, well-to-do Africans. They're buying land in metaverses like the central land. So they buy land in the central land. See, you see, which also you can buy with like, it's like it has token which you can buy. So it's currently open to, or kind of easy for people that understand how crypto technology works to get into the metaverse. Because one thing about the metaverse is that for these companies to make money, they try to create a token, a crypto token, so a digital which you can buy with the normal money. So I feel Africans will definitely be involved, either in even a lot of and even as NFT creators. So the metaverse is promises to like have a way for individuals like artists to create NFTs. And we also have African digital artists that we also create NFTs for the metaverse. So it can be the air, the top, the eyewear, the footwear of this metaverse character. So like I don't know if you saw Mark Zuckerberg's launch video where he went to a spaceship. So those costumes will be created by someone. So if you can't create your avatar yourself, you are going to like access. So if you are going to the metaverse, you have the liberty. So the point. So what the metaverse is saying, that you can be a short person in real life, then decide to be humongous in the metaverse. You might be a very, very tall person who doesn't really feel comfortable with how people comment about eyes or something. So you try to like shrink yourself. You can become a robot. You can become whatever you want to become. And it is only necessary that at a point in time there will be people that will be good at making very, very interesting avatars. Just like you have influencers now on Twitter and Facebook. The people that are able to use this platform better than the others. That is why we cannot afford to be left behind. So you have to also be among the key players of this new technology. I don't feel it's going to like revolutionize the internet, so to speak, but I feel it's something that will be big because it has a lot of very, very rich backers.
And I was also sorry, I was also going to ask, sometimes you are tempted to be a bit pessimistic. Africa often is, the dump site for old. I think there was a report about electronic equipment in Ghana, and the dump site for electronic in other electronic equipment in other countries. So Africa, in terms of ownership of, I think you already touched on it in a way, but how exactly do you think Africa can enter and actually start participating in the metaverse and not simply be just the ones that manufacture the raw materials for this metaverse boom or predicted metaverse boom. How can Africa sort of benefit from it? Where is, in short, basically, where is the money for Africans?
Okay. So the thing is that I feel this lie a lot with the builders, those that are already in the tech world. So in this case, it's tech. Metaverse is tech, and it's going to affect a lot of people on the continent and throughout the world. And we have the builders, the tech people, the tech bros on the continent that are expected to start building art stuff. It's either they build a metaverse. I think it's possible for an African founder to create a metaverse, create NFT projects that can also be sold on the metaverse. Even in fact, join global team. So if a Nigerian, for example, joins a global team building a metaverse, for example, I know a Nigerian who works as a UI designer for
sorry, Mr.
metaverse.
Quadri. Sorry,
Yes.
just 1 second. I
Yes.
think many people may not know what an NFT is. So if you could just briefly touch on what, just briefly touch on that.
Okay. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. So what a non-fungible token means is that it cannot be exchanged for anything of like direct value. So the value is logged, and it's until someone kind of claims it, that's when you can like so the basic idea behind NFT is that it is a verification. NFTs are they help verify digital assets. So you can verify art, poetry.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's a lot of
online.
virtual art that's being sold.
Yeah. So the most popular use case of the technology called NFT are digital art. So you have likes of people that sells for millions of dollars. Just create an art and sells for millions of dollars. So NFT just say, okay, I take a screenshot of this of a picture somewhere, or I create a picture somewhere and I upload it to the blockchain. So the way that works, it's called minting. So when you mint it, after minting, you take it to a platform, a marketplace like OpenSea. So once you get to a marketplace like OpenSea, people start to bid for it. And the most popular platform uses like OpenSea, Rarible, and you can mint your NFT on Ethereum. Ethereum is a type of cryptocurrency,
right?
Just like Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is very, very popular. You have another one called Ethereum. So you mint. So mint is like you lock it to the blockchain using the Ethereum protocol. So it's just like that. So and whoever wants to buy your NFT would bid on the marketplace you put your NFT on, and to be sold in Ethereum. There are other protocols like Polygon where you can mint your NFT, but Ethereum is still the most popular.
So it sort of secures your whatever you're selling in a way.
Yes. So that's the idea. So NFTs can be used for a whole lot of things. It can be used for real estate. You can say, okay, I own this physical house. Instead of having a physical deed or deed of ownership, I'll lock it on the blockchain and say, okay, yes, this is for me. So, and the way the blockchain works, the blockchain is a public ledger, so that is not controlled by anyone, so it's decentralized. So the idea behind the blockchain is that there are multiple computers, also called servers, working together to maintain the blockchain. So a blockchain server can be in Ukraine, another one can be in Spain, another can be in somewhere else in the world. So that's like the idea behind the blockchain. So it's a whole ecosystem that Africans can really tap into.
Alright guys, time for a quick break. Hope you guys are enjoying the episode. If you guys are liking the song, the name of the song is Water No Get Enemy by Violaaa featuring Kalla. Be sure to check that song out. Make sure to give us a good rating on whatever streaming platform you're listening to. Follow us on all socials so that you can influence the podcast and by asking questions and also giving us information on what topics you would like to listen to. Yeah, so thank you for listening again. Now back to the episode. And I think you talked about companies. I think you Zengi as well. You touched on it. Like recently, companies like Microsoft, Alibaba, Facebook, Apple. They've mentioned that they want to start their own metaverses. And in South Africa, I
Exactly.
think, and I read somewhere in South Africa that Africa launched its first, like the first African metaverse where you can buy art and stuff like that. So, my question is, but do you think that more African organizations, startups, even governments should go into this space, or because currently Africa has got many like apparent problems, for example, like poverty, malnutrition, and other things like that. Do you think this is something that African states or just generally Africans should tap into?
Yes, I believe so. So
Mhm.
I think the whole of last year. So I don't know if you know about Osinachi. Osinachi is like one of Africa's foremost NFT artists. So he made about $70,000 from NFTs in I think 10 days, and it was like
Oh.
Oh,
people were like surprised that you can make so much money from NFTs. And
Yeah.
since then, and he designs through Microsoft Word. He created some NFTs. Then because NFTs were really, really new to Africans and Nigerians then. Since then, Africans are like big in the NFT space. Like in fact, the
Mm.
Africans are already creating NFT projects. So NFT projects are collections of like the most popular type of NFT project is the board ape. So so you
Oh, yeah.
create an image and create variations, maybe 10,000, but it's a
Mm.
single kind of concept. So you're having Nigerians and Africans creating projects now. Like almost every day on my TL, I'm seeing some a Nigerian or African announcing that he or she sold something an NFT. So just because it's people like that had laid the foundation, then
clickbait, eh?
having people beeping.
Made 10,000 in one
Yes,
day. Sounds like clickbait.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, so what happened then was that when the Osinachi story broke, you see people that are like traditional artists, you get told by their friend that someone like you making money from art instead of you just creating art for fun. Why don't you start selling it as NFT? So those use cases just tell you that Africans, regardless of these constraints, even if we have the most problems in the world, we have famine, we have poverty, we have a lot of issues to do. I still feel, and a lot of people have been lifted out of poverty from just selling NFTs. You see, I'm not saying it is totally the best thing to happen to Africa, but I
Mm.
feel if it's a technology that's open to the entire world, Africans have the right to also benefit from it. And in case of metaverse, the metaverse is, I would really, really have to say this, it is looking like a big tech game. So you have the likes of Nvidia, you have the likes of Facebook, Microsoft entering this space. Then you see one little African company say they want to build their own metaverse. It might be difficult at first, but I feel at the foundation of these new technologies, NFTs, metaverse. So if you're able to if we the reward in the next couple of years, in the next decade, we must have laid the foundation. So people would have taken the plunge,
Yeah.
even when it is not easy for them to get these things done.
It's actually quite interesting. You mentioned the issue to do with
Yeah.
how some people who make art are not able to earn enough money from their art because many talented African artists normally just resort to selling a few crafts to tourists for very low amounts of money, and that could be one possible
Exactly.
area for democratizing and making things much easier for people to get more money for what they do.
Mhm. Yeah,
Exactly. In
very true.
fact, so some artists mint NFTs just to fund the other project. So you're not a full-time NFT artist, but because you need the money, you mint some of your arts, then you get paid, then you work on some other art project that you normally will not have money to fund.
Yeah, I think you touched on it a little bit in the beginning when you talked about the internet issue, where about 40, you said 50, 20, 46% of Africans have access to internet.
3%.
So, are there any other things that could potentially hold back Africa from entering the metaverse apart from the internet issue?
Okay. I think I mentioned this earlier. Getting a VR headset is kind of expensive.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's very, very expensive in this. The only about 30, I think about 30% of Africans still don't have smartphones. Phones that have
Mm,
internet features. So if you look at it that way, now as it stands, internet like and able to internet are expensive for some people. 10 years ago, the number of people that could afford smartphones like were lower than currently have now. So I think as more people get to the metaverse, headset, which is used to like access metaverse, to get lower. And in fact,
mm.
probably see big companies partner with local makers, soft hardware makers to create African VR headsets.
So, Facebook already has issues with regards to privacy and even censoring other social media platforms as well. I think Nigeria, the issue to do with Twitter, also Twitter banning. So this whole idea of privacy, this whole idea of even freedom of speech and how Facebook monitors these things, will African governments be able to ensure the safety of their citizens in metaverse, one, in terms of privacy, and two, what are the implications when it comes to things like censoring and freedom of speech in the metaverse? And how do you think that can impact Africans? I mean, like you're mentioning that you can be short in the real world and then you can be tall in metaverse. So can you have someone think that in metaverse I can say this, whereas in the real world I can't say this in the same way that it is on the internet? So two things,
So
basically, privacy and freedom of speech with regards to metaverse.
okay. So I don't think much will change. The metaverse is going to be like an iteration of the internet, like as we currently have. So people are shit posting on Twitter, on Facebook, in the current internet. They will definitely do the same in the metaverse. And these problems are definitely going to like be addressed because, but as it stands, much hasn't because not, a lot of people have not really adopted the metaverse. That's why we are not seeing much of this discussion. But the idea of data privacy is a very big issue in the world. In fact, there was the US government has named the likes of Facebook as too powerful. It's sad that they have a monopoly having Facebook,
So can we really
Instagram,
trust
and
Facebook?
WhatsApp. Yeah, so that's the idea. So they are so powerful. They have so much of our data with them. There have been scandals where user data have been leaked to third parties and even to political parties, like I think the Trump scandal. So, but one thing that I noticed is that African governments have not been that vocal and add on these big tech companies. The only time they have add on these big tech companies is when they want to ban these platforms for elections. So anything short of electioneering, political campaign, they don't really care about how much effect these platforms have on the continent. And of course, I think with by collaborating with civil organizations, with journalists, people on the field, and like having a kind of roundtable, African governments can legally and sensibly protect the rights of Africans. And I'm not saying just actually hastily made regulations like they are known for. So they should. I feel African government would definitely have to probe the likes of Facebook to understand how they operate on the continent. And most times when they probe these big organizations or try to like curtail their huge control over the lives of their citizens, it is always hasty. It's always from the place of we have this power to do this and we just do what I want to do. Yeah, you're coming to our country to come and take money, then you have to like obey our rules. I think they won't care, and most times they don't care about these users. Like in the case of Nigerian Twitter ban, the government banned Twitter without thinking about the negative effect on people whose livelihood are on Twitter. People, business owners, young professionals
Think
that
of the
rely on
impact
Twitter to get business connection, business opportunity. Exactly. So while countries like the US can the only thing I worry about is that when African countries want to check the powers of these big tech companies, they should consult with those on the field, with civil society, with journalists, and they should also measure their decisions' impact on their citizens, on internet freedom, and ensuring that the livelihood of the citizens are not being threatened.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
Yes.
just briefly, is there any advice that you'd give to African youth with these developments in the metaverse and things like that?
So what I feel Africans should do is that we should not relegate ourselves from experiencing technologies, even though they are not perfect. There are issues like data issues, like you mentioned. Facebook might have too much power when we all get on Facebook metaverse. They might even control a larger chunk of our lives. The NFTs might not be as might be a scam because maybe the utility might expire. There might be just another photocopy of an image elsewhere. Bitcoin might later turn out to be a Ponzi scam or not. But in all, I feel we should not allow this constraint stop us from doing whatever we want to do and tap into these new technologies. Just like we tapped into, because we are like almost always late to new technologies. So the entire world would have spent, I think, probably, for example, the US might have spent a decade on an app, like a decade of context, a decade of development, a decade of conversations that would like build up even that will complicate the data ecosystem and make it kind of really robust. And we will just maybe later get there maybe after like they have done so much stuff. So I think with the way the world is now, like we almost have equal opportunity to participate in these new technologies, and I think we should utilize it. I know there's a funding problem. They obviously have much more money than us, but I think we should not just relegate ourselves and say, okay, we are not doing this because we have bigger problems to solve.
So in short, you're basically saying Africa should strike it while it's hot. Regardless,
Exactly,
it might be risks, but just
exactly.
strike it while it's hot so that seize the moment.
Exactly. So even if you're like using MTN network that is so bad, and you can still work in a global company, and you can still be a Web3 developer, you can be a blockchain developer. Try working in the most remotest of places in Africa. And what it means, so I'm not celebrating how put it, suffering culture. I just feel like tenacity is what will help us cover more ground and get the gains that we have lost over time. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to end the podcast there. That was a more optimistic, that's an optimistic note. Yeah. So, on behalf of all of our people that listen to this podcast, I'd just like to say thank you very much, Mr. Quadri, for joining us and giving us some insight into what the metaverse is and everything like that. So, thank you very much, Mr. Quadri.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Thank you, Zenge. It was nice. I really appreciate you having me. Yeah. It's a pleasure for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yep.